What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Aha, and we continue our journey through their 1986 album Scoundrel Days. This deep dive has already been as exciting as pretty much any other that I've been on, just in terms of already the quality and diversity of the songs, but also the enthusiasm of Aha fans, like, who very quickly sort of, connected with the channel, giving me great information, offering support, and hey, it's great that you're going through the albums in order, which, it's something that when I first started doing reactions to, let's say, regular music, because again, those of you who know, I was reacting to techno and trance and that kind of stuff, I originally, like with Depeche Mode and some other groups that I started with, I was just kind of jumping around to songs that I like on different albums, but it has, I think, been a very important step to begin to start reacting to albums sort of like chronologically and, not only individually within the albums, but as much as possible. And once again, shout out to all the people who have aided the channel by making material available to me, but going through the albums in sequence as well. So yeah, big ups to all of you, both for bringing me information and also, again, those of you who've helped share material. But we're up to a song which is called Soft Rains of April. I love the title. It has a very literary, almost like poetic feel to it. I was thinking, like here, for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, April is springtime. It's sort of the end of the winter cycle, and things begin to thaw. There's the idea of life sort of re-emerging, rebirth, and so on, which a lot of cultural paradigms have narratives or sort of mythological motifs about that very thing. But again, that is specifically in regard to the Northern Hemisphere, which I realize Norway is in the Northern Hemisphere. But by and large, the Southern Hemisphere, their months or their seasons are sort of flipped from ours. So, soft rains in April might mean something very different to someone in, say, Australia or, South Africa or other places in the Southern Hemisphere. But regardless of that, once again, there's a sort of lyricism or a sort of poetry to the title, and Soft Rains, it's not only very, again, sort of texturally, aesthetically pleasing to me, but it's very evocative. It makes me think of a sort of setting in which, here in the US we often call it drizzle, but that sort of like misty sort of precipitation where it hasn't really developed into proper like full-on rain, but it has that sensation of, like I'm out in the weather, I'm out in the elements. And then of course it also, not of course, but it does also make me think of like, nature video footage of like rain sort of landing on leaflets and sort of, the edges of flowers and the sort of like beautiful imagery, as well as, again, the sort of biological revitalization that is sort of implied in those images. So that all comes flooding into my brain when I think of the phrase soft rains of or in April. Is it of April? Of April. So yeah, it might, relate to sort of seasonal weather, but perhaps that will be used more as a metaphor for like changes in someone's life, either vis-a-vis another person or perhaps just in terms of their own life trajectory, over a longer period of time. So we'll have to see. Let's get it. This is Aha, Soft Rains of April, from their 1986 album Scoundrel Days. Wow, that's quite the intro. Oh, the little bass. I'll keep saying it. Their synth bass is awesome. It's like his voice is very floaty up in the clouds, but then that bass is very like deep and terrestrial. Anybody home? I'm on the phone. I'm so just got today and my phone's a mausoleum. with this build from the beginning. Oof. Wow. I love that finish, that vocal, like a little bit of vibrato. Yeah, a top tune. Lyrically, I gotta hear that one some more. Again, there were a couple lines that I didn't fully make out, and then the lines that I did, like, I didn't really have enough, like, fuller context to sort of, put into the puzzle. But again, that last line obviously helps a little bit, that the soft rains of April are over. The idea that that's sort of perhaps like regenerative, restorative, life-affirming sort of soft rain, whether more literal or metaphorical, has ceased to take place, and so we've entered another phase, whatever that may be. But yeah, musically very cool. I like those build sections. There was that really sort of sonically complicated, like complex and atmospheric section that, again, it almost had like a cinematic, like theatrical sort of feel to it. So once again, their sequencing, like their production and also the arrangement, the chronology of the tune, I've been very impressed by. This is another example. Once again, shout out to a-ha. Do let me know what you think of this tune. I will see you next time.